All right, what's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Um, I'm jumping in this real quick. I want to say something a little bit more positive. I just got this in me today. God will always provide, right? I'm more of a spiritual person than a religious. But where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. And when I look back on my own life and the things that my grandparents used to tell me, I didn't understand what they were talking about. God always provides. Now, sometimes we look at it as money, money, money. But as I age, it's deeper than that. First and foremost, God will always provide an opportunity. God always provides opportunity. Where there's a will, there's a way. If you want something, and if it's your heart's desire, the road you get there may be unorthodox. It may be orthodox. I must say that. But the road you take is going to where you actually want it to go. Because God will always provide the opportunities that you might not see these opportunities as opportunities, though. And I've been there where I want to do something or go in a certain direction and look at stuff. Brandon, what's going on? How come I believe in God? Well, I had an out-of-body experience when I got my throat cut in the second grade. And I learned at a very early age that, we do have a soul, and it kind of, and death ain't the end all be all. And then I've had other experiences after that. Like I said, I'm spiritual, not religious, because I think American religion confines you. So answer your question. I hope that answers your question. So it started at a very early age. Now the opportunities get it twisted, right? And I don't know why my stuff keeps freezing right now, but whatever. The opportunities keep coming. As long as you have a dream and an aspiration, God will provide you an opportunity. God, the universe, Yah, karma, whatever you want to call it. But as long as you have inclination to do something better, God will provide. And I think people don't, it just doesn't look like you think it's going to look. And I remember being a kid, and one of my family members wound up going to the NFL, and I saw the road took. Oh, Shay Lennox, what's up with you? Gene, what's popping? And I saw the road he took, and it wasn't a normal road, right? Deron, thank you, fam. It wasn't a normal road. It's like, how did you get from where we was at all the way over here? Like, I don't get it. But he had a dream, and God provided him opportunities. And he wasn't afraid to go in an uncharted direction that didn't look like it was going to land him where he was trying to go. You make decisions, but that was decisions you make are predicated about the opportunities you give. And sometimes, God will make a way, but you don't realize that the opportunity doesn't have to be huge. It could be this small. Because sometimes you want God to put you in this big space, but you don't need that big space. You need that small space or that middle space to cultivate everything in you. So when it really hits, you got it all. You got time to put in all the little things that other people didn't get a chance to do. God always provides an opportunity. It doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to be the most ideal opportunity, is the lesson that I learned. God will give you opportunities, but it won't be the opportunity necessarily you think is ideal. Like Like, how am I supposed to work with this? That's the point. Work with that, and you're gonna get something better. You know. Ooh, because they didn't value the pre-work. That's a good thing. Okay. That's fine, Brandon. I mean, that's your belief. I don't believe in Santa Claus either. I'm grown. But my experiences of a higher power or otherwise, like I said, you didn't get your throat cut in the second grade. You didn't have an out-of-body experience. So your experience and my experience is two different things. Thus to a degree, I'm not afraid of death as most are. I'm not tripping on that. Life is cyclical. Everything in life is born, it dies, and it regenerates. That's the cycle of life. It has its seasons. You know what I'm saying? So that's part of the issue. Let me get back to this topic real quick, though. So God always provides, and it sounds weird because sometimes we don't realize we look for things that are beyond what we need. We want God to give us everything right now. That's not what happens. That's not what happens. God will provide you with lessons. I learned a lot of things about life, about prayer, about being careful what you wish for by the ideology that God will provide. Like, there's times I prayed for certain things, and I said this before in another video. I remember when I was young, I prayed for strength. And in a literal sense, I'm a very physically strong person for somebody my size because I'm not a big guy. In a figurative sense, that prayer put me through a whole lot of situations in my younger age that made me stronger in character, but I went through a lot. I went through a lot of things that I thought were unnecessary, but I didn't realize God gave me what I asked for at the time. I asked for strength. To be strong, you're going to have to face adversity. And I faced a lot of adversity. But a lot of times I've known people don't look at the lessons as something that God provides, because if you're not given a win, or you're not given the world, you don't look like God didn't give this. The devil giving me these lessons. These lessons are straight from hell. Well, not really. You asked for this, and the lessons make you a better person. The lessons make you who you are today. The lessons give you the wisdom and the foresight to see what's coming in the future. What's up, Turf? The lessons give you that. The lessons give you the idea to say, listen, I know how this works. I know how this can work. Now I know how people operate because of the lessons that I got when, God provided me lessons. I didn't particularly ask for these lessons. I asked for something else. But when I asked for strength, the lessons came with it. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part about it is this. A lot of us, we repeat certain lessons because we ask for certain things. But what wound up happening was, until we get past that lesson, we don't move forward. And I'm not saying once you learn a lesson, you graduate to bigger and better things. I'm saying you can graduate to bigger and better things, but that lesson is going to still come back in your life until you get it. You might have to make a hard decision. You might have to let somebody go. You might have to let yourself go. You might have to do something that is the complete antithesis of what you think you are, or your decision making. The lesson might be that you ain't a perfect person. The lesson might be that you gonna have to make a mistake to win. The lesson is, how I need to drop you to see how you bounce back. When everything's perfect, you cool. But when I drop you, let's see how you bounce back. God will provide you situations, you know, and lessons, not for other people, but for yourself. A lot of people don't take up opportunities to succeed because it doesn't fit their fantasy narrative of what they think success looks like. Absolutely, fam. And what's up to you, Will? And what winds up happening is the lesson is the most important thing at that time. Because just like the opportunities, if you get an opportunities, there's gonna be a learning curve. And in that learning curve is the lessons that you're gonna need to learn when things really get thick. When you really gotta learn how to make a move, when you really gotta learn how to be better, when you really gotta learn how to be productive, you know. Exactly, O'Shea Linus. It's a byproduct of something else. And God will always provide you these situations. And I've come to learn that, when they say he don't come when you call, but he always on time. Well, God doesn't show up when you want God to show up, but he's on time because he gave you what you asked for. It's just your job to cultivate it. So when he shows up, he's on time because you're where you need to be. You're where you need to be. Nobody else, you are. You actually did the work. You put in the work. God is an ideology. God is a being, and you're a vessel to a degree, and you're an instrument to a degree. Appreciate it, Turk. You're an instrument to a degree, and you don't realize you got to do your work for God to give you the rest. Because you might not be prepared for the things you asking for. You're just asking for stuff, and you're not looking at the idea that maybe God's just, you know, holding you in a little bit to say, listen, if I get this to you right now, you're going to hate me. You're going to blow it. Because you just want. You just want, but you're not prepared. So I'm going to pull you back and prepare you for what you said you want. Now, the question is, can you handle the preparation? Can you handle the preparation? Most people have a hard time handling the preparation because you have no control over when your day comes. Everybody's gonna have their day in the sun, their moment. Everybody's gonna be hot at a time. Everybody's gonna have, that thing when everything's clicking on all cylinders. I don't care if it's a day, a week, a month, a year, a season. You're gonna have your high time. You're gonna have your ups, and you're gonna have your downs. But the premise is you got to be prepared. And most people who have the most ups are people who can have downs too. They could take that lump and be like, well, time to climb back up. I fell again, time to climb back up. Most people who just have an up and never and go down are people who got it all and they just indulge too much and they can't handle climbing back up again. They're not. The top is not where they really wanted to be. They wanted to be at the top of the party chain, not the top of the food chain. They wanted to be at the mountaintop to look down and stun on people. They didn't want to be at the mountaintop to build something and enjoy the view and then bring people along. They didn't want to build stairs that went downward. You know what I'm saying? So, but God will provide. Now, God will provide you with talent. See, we all have a talent. The question is, how we going to cultivate that talent? We all have something that we are naturally gifted at. But the issue is sometimes, if God gives you a gift and you don't use it, somebody else is going to take that. Somebody else is going to use that. Somebody else is going to be in a position that you feel like you could be in. That's why you armchair Monday morning quarterbacking, because guess what? Now you have that moment, that moment where you realize, wait a minute, I got that talent. Yeah, you do. You do. He provided you with a talent, but what did you do with it? And sometimes you compare your talent to other people's talent, and you really don't appreciate it. What do I mean by this? I want to be a talented athlete, but you have the intellect of Bill Gates. The athletes want to be Bill Gates. Bill Gates want to be the athletes. But Bill Gates won't throw his talent away to be an athlete, and these athletes won't throw away their talent to become Bill Gates. They'll respect each other's gift and learn from each other. Because those little things that you learn from people who are talented also, that are in a completely different avenue than you, could actually propel you higher in whatever you're doing. So God can provide you a talent. One of my favorite boxers is Floyd Mayweather and Roy Jones and Marvin Hagler. Two of those guys learned how to market themselves. Their talent was fighting. They learned how to market. They learned how to put on a show. They learned how to study how to sell tickets. They learned how to sell apparel. They learned how to brand themselves. That's what they learned. Exactly. They learned that. But who did they learn these things from? People who it was their talent to market. It was their talent to advertise. It was their talent to brand. It was their talent to understand the science of getting people to buy into something. God will provide you a talent. You just gotta enjoy your talent. You ain't gotta be LeBron James. You could be Rich Paul. That could be your talent. And that's a heck of a talent. If anybody got on Netflix and watched The Black Godfather, his talent was networking, putting people in the right place at the right time with the right people, and they'll do something and they'll collaborate together and make something great. That's a talent. That was his talent. He used it to the fullest of his ability. He got him connections from from entertainment to politics, to entertainment, business, and politics. What does that say? That says he had a talent he was given and he used it. We all have a talent that we're given and we need to use it. There are I want to say 7 levels of intelligence. Exactly. To find your niche. Find your and be happy. And God always provides the talents, but I'm gonna say this also. Be happy about the talent you have. Be enthusiastic about the talent that God gave you. Multiple talents that God gave you. Because sometimes you could be great in one thing and it'll change your life. You might suck at everything else. But guess what people are gonna know you for? Your talent. That's what they're gonna know you for. They're gonna always know you for your talent. God gave you a talent, but he didn't give you a work ethic. The work ethic is on you. That's why you hear people say they got God-given talent, but they may be more talented than another person who God gave a similar talent, but guess what? That person outworks them. Work ethic is a talent. Some of y'all don't believe, being able to work smart is a talent. Being able to build the best you is a talent. All right, what's popping, man? That's a talent. And we forget that because some of the things we got, God did provide us a certain talent. There's certain things that my family can't do that ain't in the DNA of people in my family. It's only in me and vice versa. Same thing with my friends. Tony Davis, what's popping, man? How do you develop a work ethic? Will, can't talk for anybody else. I watched my family's work ethic. Jess, what's going on? I watched my family's work ethic, and I liked and where I came up. I wanted to be out of that neighborhood and out of those neighborhoods. So I thought if I outworked people, I could get there. I heard of people who worked hard and where it got them. And I wanted to emulate what they did. I saw people who were more successful than me, who may have been a little older than me, and they went places. So I emulated what they did to try to get to where they were at. Um, and I also realized that being lazy wasn't a good thing. Like I had this early lesson um, when I was in high school, and I was playing multiple sports, and I wanted to be the best person on my team. But I was like a sophomore, and I was a year younger than everybody. So I graduated high school at 17 and not 18. And everybody I played sports against when I was younger, everybody was a year older than me or 2 years older than me. That's how it was. So it upgraded my competitive nature. But to be the best person on my team, I had to outwork everybody. And then I wanted to be the best person in my division. I had to outwork everybody. And I thought about it. I was like, damn, um, Geek Surgeon, what's popping? Guy, what's up? And I had to outwork everybody. And I looked at it like, wait a minute. And I started having this competition in my mind, like, if I'm doing this, somebody else is doing this. Somebody might be doing more. And it would get me up and it would drive me. And I wound up taking that just into life in general. So I do multiple things in life because I don't try to waste time. I get like today is actually my day off. That's why I'm on live now. 5:45 this morning, I woke up, got dressed, hit the gym for like 2 hours, 3 hours, worked out, came home, took my gym clothes off, cut my grass, edged my yard, uh, um, came in the house, cleaned up. After that, I went out and grilled in the back. I did some videos and I uploaded them. Then I grilled in the back, and then I came back to do this. And when I'm done with this, I got some other stuff I need to go do and some projects that I want to work on. You know, DC, I appreciate you, fam. Matt, what's going on? You know, practice and meditate. I feel you on that. Doug, what's popping? And so this is the thing. But now getting back to the talent part, I met people who talent who didn't have enough talent, but they outwork people. That was their talent. To be consistent was their talent. Jay was good. And I learned over the years that some people could, their talent is to see it before it happens. Their talent is to study. And this is what I mean. My older cousin was a professional athlete, and he was like my big brother. And he told me something about watching film, and that's studying your opponent, right? And he says, and I was at a game because he started coaching in college. So I was at Texas, Colorado college game some years back. But this was when Earl Thomas was actually in college. So it was a game where he actually had like a 90-something yard interception return for a touchdown because Texas was losing that game. And that cat, thanks. I'm working on it, JJ. I appreciate it. And I said, man, they was running the same plays. He said, and he told me, he said, look, man, everybody runs the same plays from high school, college, and in the pros. It's just you just got to figure out the formation and the time. Once you figure that out, you got it all set. You got it all set. So studying is a talent. This is why, and I'm a football fan. This is why people like Ray Lewis was so good. They actually studied. Why Ed Reed was so good. He actually studied. Why Tony Davis, thanks, fam. You know why Peyton Manning was so good. He studied. That was their talent. Beyond their physical talents, their mental acumen. And I'm gonna say Peyton Manning and Ray Lewis and Ed Reed for a reason. What's going on, Dollar Washer? They didn't study. They didn't study what you thought the plays were. They also studied the coaches system. the coach's go-to plays. They studied the player's body language. When we running, they act like this. When we passing, they act like this. When they pass rushing, he does this with his fingers. When they run stuffing, he does this with his fingers. When he's itchy and he's gonna go this way, he does this. He does that. That's the part that people didn't realize they studied holistically, because you started looking at people's individual traits. If that man running out, he gonna do this, and then bounce. So people started picking people apart, because studying your opponent became a talent, and it is a talent. You might not even be able to implement it like another person, but a person can tell you that, just like a military studies their opponent. The person who studies might not be the same person on the battlefield, but they know what's about to happen. They can predict it because they know the opponent. You know, anybody who's read Sun Tzu Art of War, y'all know what I'm talking about. But God provides you with a talent. Now, the other thing God provides you with, exactly, studying people's tendencies. You know what I'm saying? God provides you with competition. See, people don't think about that. God always provides you with competition. You say you want to be this, cool. I'm gonna give you competition in this. Let's see how bad you want it. Let's see how bad you want it. Exactly, like poker players, like breathing patterns, body language. You know what I'm saying? People don't pay attention to that. People don't pay attention to people getting heightened or sweating. You know, they don't know people's tails. That's a talent, to find people's tails. And with people who don't play poker, a tell is how people, basically how a person tells on themselves. If they're excited, if they're nervous, if they're scared, you know, how they jump the gun, that type of stuff. Dollar Wash, man, you know what? I don't even do the wrench thing, fam. I got to get on that. But shoot, I just like, man, for me, it's easier right now because all y'all cool people. Now, and I don't have too many people trolling. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and the trolls that came, they gone. I'm gonna get on it though. Don't think I'm not Dollar Washer. When more trolls come, if more trolls come, that's what I'm gonna do it. Now, God gives you, He provides you competition, because competitions make you better. No Patreon, fam. All the other brothers got a Patreon. I'm not trying to flood that market. I'm not. Everybody could do their thing. You know, I said a long time ago, YouTube is still a hobby for me. It's one of my hobbies. I like doing it. But, you know, I put out a lot of material. I don't need to put out extra stuff on Patreon. That's too much time for me, bro. Too much time. But subscribe to everybody else on Patreon. They be killing, and I know it. You know, they do their thing. They give you exclusive content, and I appreciate all that. But, you know, the thing about, you know, God provides you competition, and that competition is a great thing, because you can never be your best without competing. God didn't put you on this planet by yourself. So if you really want to bring the best out of you, and you really want to, you know, have a legacy and be known, you got to put your talents out with everybody else's. You got to stand out in the midst of competition. And God provides you a world full of talented people who have been given an opportunity, who have learned lessons, who have other talents that push you to know what you're strong in, to know what you're weak in, to know your breaking point. You feel me? To know when you got it together, to know when you slacking. One of the dopest things I ever heard was Kobe Bryant talking about Allen Iverson, who's really my all-time favorite basketball player. You know, Black Zeus, thanks, man. Adversity does more than build character. It reveals as well. Absolutely. You know, absolutely. You know, like I was talking about. Oh, man. Pull on. Thank you. I'm in Panama. Salute, man. Salute. You know, man, I'm just a content creator. I'm one of the brothers in the Black manosphere that just, you know, I'm in it for y'all. I like my hobby, but I appreciate y'all. But AI is one of my favorite all-time basketball players. And AI did Kobe dirty. And Kobe talked about it. He said, man, he made me go home and he pushed me to be better. I was like, who is this mother? Because AI, people don't realize AI was really that dude. He was really a one-man wrecking crew. And that competition pushed Kobe to be the Kobe that y'all see. That it upped his competitive nature. And that's a blessing, because when you see somebody who has a who is talented, and you take your talent against them, you like, okay, they get up in the morning. And I listen to people. I listen to people like Kevin Garnett was talking about it. His wife thought he was crazy when he was married, because he would get up at like 2, 3 in the morning and just go outside and shoot baskets. And he'd be like, man, and his wife like, why are you doing this? And then when he got around people like Kobe, because Garnett lives like in Malibu, so that's, L.A. to a degree, but Kobe lives in L.A. And they would have these conversations with all the players who are upper echelon great people. They're like, yeah, I get up at this, I just wake up, and they're like, oh, that's you too? That's you too? And they're like, man, I can't let you be better than me. God gives you competition. Dion, what's popping? God provides you the blessing of competition. He will provide, because that competition make you go, you know what? I'm gonna step this game up. I sometimes the people that God puts on this planet gotta hand you an ass whipping to let you know you ain't the only special one. You ain't the only special one. You can get got. You can get done in. You can get knocked on your ass. You ain't special. You ain't the greatest of all time as you may think in your mind. Somebody will come in and smack you down. That's a great thing, in my opinion. In my opinion. Now, on past that part, I think God always provides you with people. People. People who are in your corner, people who are against you, um, people who can be your motivation of why you do what you do. People who can, man, appreciate it, DC. E Smooth, what's popping? People who can in some ways show up at the right time to give you what you missing. And sometimes people show up at the right time to give you the opposite of what you need, so you know what you really need. Sometimes God provides you with the people that you think you really wanted in your life. And you like, man, I just need somebody like this. I just need this. If I got this, man, I go places. And then you get that person. It's like, wait, this is not actually what I need. I thought I needed this, but this is not what I need. I messed up. And thanks, Coach Everett. This is what I thought I needed. And see, you can't get mad at the person that you asked for, because you asked for the law of attraction. You speak something into existence to come into your life. So if you spoke of a type of person to come into your life, and they came into your life, and you messed around, and how can I say this? They weren't the and for you to donate money, then you deserved it. Okay, all right, okay. There we go. I ain't even playing that game. Now, the thing about it is, these people that come into your life, if you ask this person, they come into existence, and you like, yo, you know what? That's not what I needed. That's actually what you really needed. You needed to know that you might be asking for the wrong things. And then they got people that come into your life who you might think they're unassuming. They're not enough. They can't tell you nothing. They can't teach you nothing. They just, why are they here? Kind of like one of my favorite movies back in the day was Above the Rim, when Leon played Shep. Dwayne Martin's character didn't know who Shep was. You know what I'm saying? Shep got him on that court. Oh, homeless, aimless man came in, just give me this ball, man. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know who you think you is. I'm Shep, baby. And it was like, oh God. God brought a person into his life that took him to a level to make him think, okay, I needed this. Sometimes, God brings people into your life that they may be unassuming, but in a biblical sense, they bring everybody favor they come across. And what I mean by that is everybody that comes in their path, they do better. What's up, Matt? They bring something to their lives and they go up a notch. And that's the crazy part about it, man. E Smooth, thanks, man. Um, Sometimes God could bring you somebody that's like, yo, hustle, what's popping? You know, God will bring you people, and you're like, I don't, I I don't deserve this person should be so far up in life, but they helping me. Sometimes God brings you mentors at the right time. Sometimes God brings you opportunists who want to use you for whatever your gifts are, brings you those people at the right time. You getting used, you're getting played, you're getting manipulated. I'm not gonna say that doesn't exist, but you need those type of people because sometimes when you're on your rise, it's better to get those opportunities when you're at the bottom, so you can see it. You can see it coming a mile away. Now you can see, everybody ain't in your corner and don't have your best interest at heart. So now when you go out into society, you like, you know what? I got you. Thanks God for bringing me these snakes into my life, so I know these snakes are around me. These wolves in sheep's clothing. I know. Appreciate you. God provides you with that. Sometimes we don't look at it like that though. And that's just it happens. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. You know, snakes in the bucket. Oh, what's up, Shada Zulu? Same thing. God would always provide you with solutions. Sometimes I've learned this where I I need answers, and God gave me the solution, but it's not what I wanted. It's not. It's not the solution. I wanted a solution that I didn't have to make a certain decision. You know, I feel you on that hustle. I didn't want to make a certain decision. And sometimes God provides you with a solution in this way. When you change your energy, when you change your direction, when you change your trajectory, when you change your person from your person to a path of productivity or just righteousness or whatever, God provides you the solution of doing the right thing, even if it's uncomfortable. You do the right thing no matter what. And guess what that simple solution does? It eliminates people who have bad intentions because they don't have they can't do the right thing. They can't live in righteousness. They can't be progressive. They can't keep moving forward. They're not disciplined enough to do that. So the solution is you can get rid of a negative circle just by going forward. And God is this is your direction. This is the path you wanted. This is what you chose. This is your the trail that you're blazing. Guess what? At this point, here's my solution to you. Keep going forward, and you're gonna leave some of these people behind because they're not gonna want to come. They're not gonna want to be in those situations. They're not gonna be in those rooms. As a matter of fact, sometimes the reverse. God will provide you with a solution by putting you through something, and everybody, I can't be around you right now. When you was winning, I was good. When it looked like you was winning, I was down for you. But now it look like you about to fall off. I'm good. You know, now you got your answers. Now you know who's there for you through thick and thin. Now, when you bounce back, say, man, remember, you know what I'm saying? I always knew you was gonna make it. I ain't trying to hear that. I ain't trying to stay. Get back over there. Go back over there. That's a solution. And sometimes God just gives you an idea. I mean, I'm a creative person. Like I still do music stuff. And one thing I learned about music is uh the ideas are God given. Because you can be listened to if you listen to to music, you might have your own ideas. Like you can be in a very happy mood and you hear music and you're like, I'm gonna make something very happy. And you wind up making something very heartfelt and maybe even somber or sad because God gave you a whole nother idea. You don't even know where it came from. Your whole mind and emotion was on this, and something even better that was on a different spectrum came out. And it works in reverse. You could be very sad or very angry, and then you hear something like, "Man, I'm gonna make a song that's called Kill Everything Moving," and then you turn around and you make something very, very, very happy and uplifting. Same thing with writing, art, anything like that. The inspiration to a degree is God given. You don't. It just comes out of nowhere. Sometimes you get an idea in your mind about doing something. Some of these inventors, those ideas come from, I forgot the guy's name. It's not Duquesne. He has a university like Duplessis or something like that. He was one of the guys who invented, I want to say, uh like the crane and construction stuff like that. And he was like, he would go in his office and he was like, God gave him an idea. He was a religious guy. And one of my ex-girlfriends got a degree from there. I can't think of the doggone name of the school. And like, crane, forklift, bulldozer. He came up with these ideas. And he was like, I was in a quiet space and God gave me these ideas. I remember hearing Prince talk about that with him and Michael Jackson. Yeah, exactly, Tony. I remember Prince and Michael Jackson talking about this. They had their own little competition musically. And I forget if it was Prince or Michael who said it. It was like, well, I just get up in the middle of the night and I got a song and I got to do it. And it was Michael Jackson. And it's like, well, how do you know you have to do it? He said, because if I don't, God will give it to Prince, and it ain't coming back. Because sometimes there are multiple people that God gives these ideas. You're not the only one. If you don't execute that idea, guess what happens? Somebody else is out there to do it. God will give you a solution, but he ain't gonna wait on you to do it. If you won't do it, somebody else gets the solution. And I've learned this also. The last thing is God provides resources. Not everything you asking for, but you know, God will give you what you need to start small. Um, I remember those hungry nights. I learned how to cook off of hungry nights. I learned how to experiment and make food out of what you think is nothing from hungry nights because I had the resources. The little I had, I made the best of the little I had. It, Negro, exactly, fam. Thanks for your support. The little I had, that's what I learned to work with. And then I learned to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I remember my grandparents telling me stuff like, if God can't trust you with the little stuff, he can't trust you with the big stuff. And I didn't realize what that meant. If you take care of the little stuff you got, you get better stuff. Sometimes and sometimes you wind up taking on challenges that are way bigger than you. Uh-oh. Ken, you trying to get, look, man, I ain't getting all that, Ken Thomas. you know, Sometimes God will give you stuff that you like, what am I supposed to do with this? And it ain't about that moment. It's about you need to master those small resources at the time because you're gonna need that lesson bigger time. Biblically speaking, you actually think David was walking around with that slingshot? I'm doing this damn slingshot. Come on, how am I be a king anything with a slingshot? What are y'all talking about? A slingshot? I just got a slingshot. What are y'all talking about? And then Goliath come around. What are you doing? Hey man, Southwest. Oh, hey, I know what you're talking about. Mo City, Sugarland. What you talking about? See, I know you see, bro. You gonna be like, wait a minute. But and then the Goliath situation happened, and it's like, you know what? Yo, I guess this slingshot was for a good reason. Reg, was popping. I don't drink the beer though. I appreciate you though. You know. And what's up to you, man? Uh Molly was good. So God will give you the resources, and you be sitting there like, oh, you don't put two and two together. A-Leaf, gotcha. Gotcha. My homegirl's out there. She left town now. She out of town, but I know A-Leaf, you know. And I'm learning to use preparation to combat. You know what? Hustle. I learned that a long time ago. If you outwork people and you out prepare people, it makes them afraid of you. It literally makes them, because and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna get back on the resources and I'm gonna get out of here. This is why I like Floyd Mayweather, because I do a boxing podcast. Jessica, what's up? He outworks everybody. He outworks everybody to the point where by the time he get in the ring, he's prepared for anything you got. And that scares people. I remember playing sports and I'm like, I could tell I out-trained you. You trying to figure out how you gonna make it through this little endeavor. I'm about to kick your ass because you ain't really ready. Every time you outwork somebody and you more prepared than them, it strikes fear in them. Because if you build a history of this, you've been doing something for years, and then somebody come along and say, I could take them. I just need 3-4 weeks of good training. No, you think your 3-4 weeks gonna catch up to my 10 years straight? That's what you think? Cool. I appreciate you. Get it all in. See how that works for you. And then by the time they see you, oh, them 3 weeks ain't help you, huh? It's demoralizing to people. But God will always provide you the resources you need. And sometimes we don't realize this. Sometimes the resources have to be small. I remember my older cousin played cornerback, and the school he went to, they didn't cut the grass. And he's like, the grass is high. And it worked. It helped his technique. And he was like, yo, truth be told, when I was in that high grass, I had to concentrate on everything I was doing, my cuts, my breaks, my turns, my shifts. He was a Pro Bowl player. He was a defensive back of the year before. You get what I'm saying? So, and he attributed it to that. Some of the people I know, who learned to save, they didn't have much money to save. They learned how to save little. And then that little came to things. That's why I brought up Bill Gates earlier, because even though I think he came from like an affluent family, God provided him the money to, here's a little bit of money to invest for the first time, because he was a kid when it was legal. He was a child investing in stocks. And they gave him a little stuff, and he worked with that. He worked with that. He got bigger. God will provide you resources and small resources to build on. Right. It just depends on how hard you want. I feel you that for all ages, but God will give you the resources. And sometimes you end up getting stuff, just like as a parent, I'm like, where am I gonna get this damn? I remember when my son was first born, I was like, damn, I'm gonna get all this money for to take care of this dude. Like, daycare is like $1 trillion a week. And my work ethic kicked in harder. My pages started to shoot up. And I started doing extra things on the side. And I was like, damn, well, there's a will, there's a way. There's a will, there's a way. Trey Bronx was popping. And I'm like, yeah. God, I see that. Thanks for all ages. I appreciate you. And as I got other things, like, how can I, I want to do this. How can I afford that? And sometimes God gives you resources because God makes you make a choice on what's important to you. Sometimes you have the resources. You just waste your time and money doing other things. So God will put you in a situation to take away your wants and make you focus on your needs. Now you got to make this choice. You got the resources now. What you gonna do? And a lot of people like, yo, I could, but that's not true. It's not true. You can, but God provides you those resources. He gave you a brain. Use it. I remember I couldn't afford books in college. I was falling asleep. I was working a graveyard shift. I would work from Sunday to Thursday. Basically, I was up 24 hours a day from Sunday to Thursday in college. Ain't living out of my car, taking showers at friends' place. I couldn't have, and I was paying for school at that particular point, out of pocket. That's why I was working so much. And you don't realize the human brain as a resource until you got to use it above all else. So I'm sitting there writing notes because I don't have books, to the point where I have gang of notebooks. I have to memorize everything from every class. What's up, Morel? That's my dog right there, y'all. That's my dog. You know. Oh, Shay, thank you, fam. And I started realizing, God gives you a lot. Everything you born with, you got. But sometimes you're the resource. And I was memorizing stuff. I'll fall asleep with a gang of notes and memorize everything. And I had like 18 hours in one year, like I think 21 another. So it was some crazy, ridiculous amount. But I was passing. I didn't make the dean's list. I had wound up having like a 2.8 or something like that, because I wound up finishing with like a 2.8, because of that, because I kept following them, this, that, and the third. But I had the resource, and I became the resource. Show you right. David, what's popping? That's true, Hustle. Sometimes you are the resource, and now what winds up happening along the way, I had to learn that at some point, God's gonna provide you everything you need at the time you need it, and sometimes at the time before you need it. Because I didn't realize the people who came into my life, the situations that came into my life, the resources that came into my life that made me, they were all interconnected. Just like we think of life, sometimes the life God gave you and the things that God provided for you in life, they have 6 degrees of separation for you to be your best self at a particular point. And you got to go back to this message and this message and this message. Matter of fact, I'm going to say this like this and I'm going to get out of here. It's a weird way to reference this. Got into a fight, I can say it that way. Evron, thank you. Play football, I can say it that way. Track, say it that way. Other life situations. I've had multiple situations where I was just preparing for stuff and I didn't know why. And I remember teaching my son this, the vision of a running back or ball or somebody that plays football, how you can see the blocks coming. And I remember working on this as a child, and how you could sucker, how you could be in an open field and it can be a receiver here or a downfield blocker here, and it could be 2 defenders, and you can be running. And I used to practice this, like I'm gonna go left, and then I'm gonna make a hard turn right. And when I turn, this outside defender is gonna cut in. So my blocker is gonna loop in a sense. And then when I get him to cut in, guess what happens? I dip on the back end of that downfield blocker, and it blocks 2 people simultaneously because they're stuck in all each other way. It's a bunch of traffic, so I could go right by. I didn't know I would need that, or when I would need that, but when it happened just like that. It was a second thought. When I got into a fight some year something ago, me and the dude, I jabbed him, busted his nose. Then he got wild, cracked me right in the mouth, split my shit. He dropped me. I got up. I was like, okay, it's on now. But at the time, I had not separated. My shoulder, my rotator cuff was torn. So I was like, I can't throw a hook like I want to. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna walk your ass down. So I walked this guy down, body shot, jab to the face, fake the body shot, and I could hook close. Gave him a concussion. Because At that time, it was like, oh, because when I dropped him, it was over. He tried to get up, threw him out with the trash. And and I learned this in other things in life where um you don't know what you're being prepared for. Life is a journey. Life, Emmanuel, my bad, what's popping? Life is a journey. God gives you everything you need in life for every situation. Same, I've learned this in cooking, interactions, communications. To me, even this YouTube shit is a gift because when I look at my old videos, I had such a twang that I knew I was country when I would talk to people and they wouldn't understand me. But after years of watching myself, I became a better communicator. So I use this resource to the best of my ability, not just to be making videos, but to also communicate with people in my personal life. So you got to use everything to your advantage. Now, God provides you everything you need. You just got to make the best of it. That's the gist of what I'm saying. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I'm gonna get out of here and I'm gonna go eat some junk food now. So y'all take care. Raiders, what's popping, man? I'm out of here though, man. Titan, my bad. What's happening? So y'all have a good evening. Catch y'all the next time. Peace out, for ages. Peace out, Tony. Uh-oh. Hatam, got you. Oh shit. Klutz. Yeah, I got you. I said Klutz. Convert.